breaking out, I'm breaking in. I just can't help this state I'm in. I'm on my way. So put your shades on, this light's so bright, it's blinding. I'm radiating love, I'm radiating love, I'm radiating love. Breaking free, I'm breaking ground. I can't explain this thing I found. The clouds have moved on. I got my groove on. This pep in my steps infectious. I'm radiating love. I'm radiating love. I'm radiating love. I've been stuck in a rut. I've been shit out of luck. I've been wondering what is up with me. And then I realized it's up to me to decide. I can just be radiating love. I'm radiating love. I'm radiating love. I'm radiating love.
You are an irresistible magnet with the power to attract unto yourself everything, absolutely everything that you desire. Good morning. Happy daylight savings time. That losing an hour, hope it didn't affect you too much. Those of you in most of the United States. I don't think Arizona does that, does it? But welcome to the New Thought Spiritual Center Sunday celebration. I'm the Reverend Jay Willick. I'm the senior minister and spiritual leader here at NTSC, and we are so happy that this morning you have brought your consciousness to our organization, to our community, to the world. I can feel it. I know you're there, and I appreciate you showing up to bring your best into this world. So who is, or what are the New Thought Spiritual Center? I got a little video for you about our statement of principles to let you know who exactly we are. Watch. That's who we are at the New Thought Spiritual Center. This month, the month of March, we are highlighting our vision statement, which is to vibrate at the speed of the divine. And you might see a little quote down there. I love the quote of Meister Eckhart, who was a Catholic mystic in the Middle Ages. And he wrote, "The eye with which I see God is the same with which God sees me." We're going to talk a lot about looking today. What are we looking at? In March, our theme is observe it. So this month, as we are in our 2021 theme of awakening, we are going to observe it, observe the divine, observe what is going on within us and around us in the universe, the infinite possibilities and everything connected to the divine that we are. But first, I want to bring in the sacred space. Oh, also, before I do that, I want to talk to you about last week, I believe it was Tuesday, Monday, was International Women's Day, and we're going to celebrate that all the rest of this month. I have my my Divine Feminine cards with me, and we're going to pick one during our guided meditation, which we are about to step into, and learn a little more and get a little more inspiration from the Divine Feminine of the ages. Okay, so let's ring the bell, bring ourselves into our sacred space, and move through love. And as that bell releases its ring, let us know that where we are, right here in your house, in your home, wherever you are, maybe you're sitting out on the patio, it's sprinkling a little bit where I am, but know that you are the sacred space. As you declare it a sacred space, so too it is, for your word is powerful. Let's take a deep breath together slowly and hold it. 3, 2, 1, and let it go slowly through your mouth. We're going to repeat that. Hold it. 3, 2, 1, and then exhale. And this next one, let's do it in a 5-second count. Are you ready? Here we go. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and let it out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We want to allow our breath to slow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get into a comfortable position. You might want to cross your legs if you like to do that. If not, please put them both feet flat on the ground, wherever you are. It'd be great if you were barefoot. Put them in some grass. Ground yourself, connect yourself to the earth, to Mother Gaia. Allow this power, this energy to come up through you from the base of your feet to the bottom of your feet, up through your legs, down from the base of your spine. Allow that energy. Maybe you can imagine a lightning bolt or a string dropping down to the center of the earth, bringing that energy back to the planet and allowing it to circulate within you. As you breathe, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you prefer, you can put your eyes at a soft focus and watch the moving mandala on the screen. And allow the cosmic energy from around us in the universe to drop in intentionally, purposefully. Feel it vibrate in you. Feel that energy, that frequency, that communion with Spirit. So that in this moment of a quiet mind, we are still vibrating at the speed of the divine. So I'm going to pick a card from the Divine Feminine card stack, and we will read who this ancient wisdom person is and what she has to say. Our Lady of Guadalupe, the Empress of Protection. She says, I am safe and divinely protected. I am held in love at all times. Let's sit for a minute or two just with those words. I am safe and divinely protected. I am held in love at all times. What is outside of us is also within us. Even if we have never experienced a mother's love, the true force of that loving protection exists within us. So we can give it to ourselves. When Saint Juan Diego was concerned that the Archbishop would not believe him and was racing to meet Our Lady of Guadalupe, she appeared suddenly and said the most beloved phrase in the apparition story, a phrase that is inscribed on the entrance to her basilica. No estoy yo aquí, que soy tu madre. Am I not here, I who am your mother? The energy of a mother's love can travel to meet you anywhere, whether within the world or within your own heart. The message is that she is here. You are mothered. But the message is also to ask for what you need. Saint Juan Diego asked Our Lady of Guadalupe for a sign that proved her identity and existence. She gave him her image emblazoned inside his cloak, one that had been venerated and considered holy ever since because he asked for her assistance. We are ennobled with free will. The divine needs our request for assistance in order to enter our lives. All we need to do is to assume the simplicity, the heart, and the humility of a child and ask for a sign that she is here. We will be met with more love than we could ever imagine. And love is always the greatest and most powerful energy of protection. I am safe and divinely protected. I am held in love at all times. Our Lady of Guadalupe speaking to us. So now it's time to wiggle our fingers and our toes. Take a deep breath as we slowly open our eyes. Bring ourselves back to this room. Keeping that consciousness of love, of motherly love, with us at all times. Welcome back. Open your eyes if you haven't already. I love these cards. So, of course, I can use them any time of the year. I don't have to leave them for March only or Mother's Day. But I just love what they say, what they remind us, and how it expands even things I already know. How it expands that idea and manifests in my life, and I'll see it manifest all week. So now I'd like to manifest for you our sacred reader for the week, and that is the Reverend Gary Oltman is here in his house.
I have taken form upon your command, Jay. Thank you for manifesting me right now. And I love that reading. I am safe and I'm held in the heart of the divine at all times.
Yeah.
That's the perfect opening for me and my long and depressing reading from The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. So I'll jump into that for us now, but give me a chance to pull us back from this. This is just the opening, the dramatic opening. Okay. Don Miguel writes, in the dream of the planet, it is normal for humans to suffer. I cringe a little bit at that word normal. Let's try and know a new normal. But he writes, it is normal for humans to suffer, to live in fear, to create emotional dramas. The outside dream is not a pleasant dream. It is a dream of violence, a dream of fear, a dream of war, a dream of injustice. The personal dream of humans will vary, but globally it is mostly a nightmare. If we look at human society, we see a place so difficult to live in because it's ruled by fear. Throughout the world, we see human suffering, anger, revenge, addictions, violence in the streets, and tremendous injustice. It may exist at different levels in different countries around the world, but fear is controlling the outside dream. He goes on to write later, one of his 4 agreements is to not take anything personally. And this is at the end of that chapter where he writes, if you keep this agreement, you can travel around the world with your heart completely open. No one can hurt you. No one can hurt you. You can say, I love you without fear of being ridiculed or rejected. You can ask for what you need. You can say yes, or maybe more importantly, you can say no. Whatever you choose without guilt or self-judgment. You choose to follow your heart always. Then you can be in the middle of hell and still experience inner peace and happiness. You can stay in your state of bliss and hell will not affect you at all. Yeah, actually, this is our opportunity right there when we're seeing those conditions to see beyond the conditions, to see into the heart of the matter with the realization that love is at the center of all conditions, and it's just waiting for our recognition of it and our acceptance of it and our release of it into the situation to shift those conditions. to what we're willing to experience. I remember when my daughter was really young, and I used to love sharing about my wonderful relationship with her, how great it was, how much fun we had. And I'd often hear this cautionary tale of just wait until she's a teen. Boy, things will all change then. Well, I could have accepted that for myself and my experience, but I absolutely was not willing to accept that for our experience that we were going to share in the future. And our relationship has been solid for all our years together, and it continues that way. She's in her 20s now, and oh, I love her dearly. The French people are. And well, Barbara and I were not willing to accept that for our experience either. So wasn't our experience. Well, we did meet one grumpy person, and he worked at the post office, so we forgave him. And, the universe is a reciprocal universe, and it rises to meet our expectations. It gives us exactly what we expect to see. It's infallible, which is defined as incapable of making mistakes or being wrong. So it's just trying to make us happy by giving us back what we want. Well, actually, I don't even think it's trying to make us happy. The law has no concept of happiness or sadness. It's just a mechanical process that takes what we put into it through our conscious mind and then gives it back to us. And if we don't like it, we have the opportunity to choose again. We're the only ones that can create an experience in our lives that might negatively impact us. But I know one thing is true for me, and I want love. I want to be greeted with love by all those I meet. I want joy. I want uproarious laughter. I want to meet amazing, interesting people who open me up to new experiences, ideas, and opportunities, and inspire me to be a better person. And you know what? I know that the universe won't let me down. It can't. It's not designed to. It's infallible. So that is what I claim for my experience, and that is what I claim to shine on the just stay in your circle of love and greet him from there. And if he doesn't enter that circle, well, then move on and don't take it personally. But there is a truth, and it's stated by William James, and who is the father of American psychology. And he says, we are like islands in the sea, separate on the surface, connected in the deep. Okay, let's move into our affirmative incantation for today. And I can read it, and you can read it along or listen to me read it. It's right there on the screen with us. And it says, I release, I let go, and I let the divine in me inform, inspire, regulate, and interpret all my dreams and desires. Through the eyes of any storm, I stand steady and nimble like the olive tree in the zone of the awakened awareness with the spirit-empowered readiness to take on all that steps into my life with ease and grace. My intellect, compassion, and instincts are handy and ripe with the smartest and most loving choices, the best choices for this day, in this moment. And the next ones hereafter, I rise to my highest self, confident of my fitness, goodwill, and willingness to be in my prime, vibrating at the speed of the divine. Oh, I love that one. I'll keep that one nearby so I can read it now and then throughout the week. I'm sorry. Just join me for a moment. Let's go into a spiritual mind treatment, which is a prayer. a prayer that we start by recognizing that there is indeed one power, one presence, one infinite intelligence, one wisdom that is flowing and ebbing throughout the universe. Like a giant ocean, we are in that sea of intelligence. We are not only in it, we are part of it, and we flow easily and gracefully as we recognize that we are one with this power. We are one with this divine wisdom. It guides us, it directs us. And I just open up and let down all barriers to its influence, to its inspiration on my life. And I trust that in this letting go, that my life unfolds at a greater level than I could have imagined, at a higher vibration. I am light shining out into the world, and the light is reflected back to me by that world in a prosperous way, through work, through family, through love. It is amplified. And there is joy, and there is laughter, uproarious laughter every day. There is peace. There is ease and grace as I walk across this world with my fellow travelers. Thank you, Spirit, for giving me this wonderful planet, this wonderful life, this wonderful universe, this infinite capacity to see it and move through it in ways that are just astounding. As I release this word into the law, I know it is done as I've spoken, because it went into that mechanical law that says, yes, I'm here to create that for you. The process is taking place right now, right here. As together we say, and so it is.
And so it is.
Woo.
Yay.
That was good.
I like that. Yeah, the whole mechanical thing.
The mechanical law.
So, you know, your engine doesn't, Source doesn't have judgment.
No. It just does what I want, you know.
Yes.
Whenever I tell it. What's great is because if I mess up, which I have done many, many times.
What?
I just get to change my mind and start that mechanical thing over again. Crank the old motor on the old Ford. Okay, there you go.
Going. Yeah.
That's great.
You know,
it's a fun thing. It's a fun thing to play with life like that.
You know, it's funny. Because of the internet and all kinds of things that happen between your computer and my computer and computer and everything. Occasionally you froze.
I thought so, and I tried to kind of like,
did you
pause? But
that's so funny because it would only be for a couple of seconds, maybe 4 at the most. But when you came back, it was like new wisdom just showed up.
That's really interesting.
I didn't miss anything, although there was one time where you were in the middle of a sentence, but
that's really interesting.
You were almost at the end, so I still kind of got what you were saying, and then when you came back, there was this other other word of wisdom. It was great.
That inspires me to think of that gap. If we take a moment to allow something to come into us, we can move out of that and have some new wisdom. I love that. That's almost the perfect. That's great.
It's all perfect, right?
The internet reflects life, I guess.
That's right. We'll be back with some more Gary later on. Thank you so much. Now we're going to step into some music. We got a couple of songs this week, and the first one we're going to do is from the New Thought Music Festival LA that occurred just about a year and a week ago, mere days before the whole lockdown began. It was perfect, actually. We were very fortunate and in our perfection to bring this music festival with 3 fabulous guests to our area here in Los Angeles before the lockdown. And one of our guests, actually our highlighted guest for that music festival, was Gary Lynn Floyd. And his husband Danny happened to be very extremely helpful in our putting together that musical festival. So I want to bring one of the songs in that Gary sung at the New Thought Music Festival, LA. It's called Unbound. Here's Gary. In a second. There he is. Whoop. What happened? Oh. Well, I'm back. Something happened. It's not going. I don't know if I have another way of doing that. Well, what we'll do is we'll move forward and we'll get back to that song when we can.
Reverend Jay, both videos don't have permission.
Okay. Well, I can give permission momentarily, and I will in a second. I thought I did actually give permission. So you have to give permission. It's sort of like how life is. You have to give the law permission to show up that which you declare. And thinking, sometimes you think you have, but sometimes it is clouded by other junk that's in your way. I'm going to talk about that a lot in the next few minutes. And even though I thought I pressed the correct buttons so that Steve can push the button on his side to show these pieces of music, evidently I didn't, or something was in the way. Isn't that interesting? You know, last week we talked about where it is best to look from. So I talked about the divine matrix, and the divine matrix, as I speak that term, is the three brains: the brain in our head, the brain in our heart, and the brain in our gut. There are three brains, and they talk to each other in certain ways. And when we mesh them together, when we create them and live through them as a trinity, then inspiration comes in. Then feelings are through spirit. Then the thoughts and ideas come through the divine. And we can vibrate at the speed of the divine because we are in it and we express it. And when we use this trinity, this divine matrix, that's when the best ideas and the best action show up. But today, I want to talk about what we're looking at. What are we observing? Like I said, this month is Observe It month. Are we looking at trouble with a capital T and that rhymes with P, which makes you a fool? A little Music Man reference. Are we looking at limitations, or are we looking at infinite possibilities? What are we looking at? As De Niro did in Taxi Driver, are you looking at me? Are you looking at me? What are you looking at? Spiritual growth is the act of letting go of any ideas, beliefs, attachments that no longer serve us, right? Those shoulda, coulda, wouldas, the yeah, buts, and the I don't deserve it kind of junk thinking. And when we're consistently focused on those kind of ideas, those junk ideas, we are not only not letting go of them, we are seeing, and I don't mean just through our eyes, we are seeing, we are perceiving everything through that lens, through that perspective of the junk thinking. So you go to a new job interview and, you know, what's going to run through your head? They don't like me. I should have gotten that degree. If you found yourself attracted to somebody and they seem attracted to you and you're out on a date and you're sitting there in the date thinking, yeah, but something's got to be wrong with him, her, they. It always is. Or maybe you just have some new creative idea. And, you know, before you even get far into the idea, you think, why should I bother? I never follow through. That's junk thinking. Even if some of those ideas have shown themselves up in the factual world, it's junk thinking. We're not taking charge of our lives. We're allowing those dumb things, the shoulda, woulda, couldas, yeah, buts, etc., to show up and fog everything else, filter everything through that. That's what we're looking at, is that junk thinking. So let's take a look at letting go. Now, of course, the biggest modality, you might say, of letting go is forgiveness. Forgiveness for all those errors, injustices, debts, whatever. Because when we step into forgiveness, and that doesn't mean forgiving the other person, more about forgiving us. It is about forgiving the other person somewhat, but more about forgiving us and what we've allowed to show up in our lives and what we've allowed to stay in our consciousness, in our thinking. But this forgiveness has got to happen to allow space in our head and space in the energy around us that we exude. And remember, forgiving is not condoning. By forgiving someone or even yourself, you're not condoning the action. You're releasing its hold on your perspective of life, and thus awaken yourself to your highest and capable self. You are emancipating yourself from discord and making room for greater good to be expressed or received. It's like a change. You're making a change. You're making a healing by this act of forgiveness. And sometimes that forgiveness needs to be very radical. Now, of course, the choice of letting go, the choice of releasing these ideas out of your mind, heart, gut, and life is yours at the start. Because spiritual law tells us that spiritual growth cannot take place until we are open to learning, till we awaken to catching Spirit's ideas, you might say, about what we need to let go. We'll be informed. Spirit will inform us what we need to let go. And we'll be there to allow the removal of any obstacles or impediments which fog our way of living, which fog up our best way of living, you might say. As we let go, so too will Spirit's highest ideas then reveal themselves into our mind, into our heart, and through our gut. We forgive and we let go. And then we create this openness and spaciousness so the universe can release into our consciousness the greater idea, the best perspective. So when we look from our divine matrix and embrace Spirit's highest ideas and let go of all those untruths and release into our lives the truth, which is we are perfect, whole, and complete right here and now, no matter what. And we individualize, we are individuations of Spirit, of the divine. We automatically make room for being lifted out of these wrong tendencies and diseases that has shown up in our lives. Our job, our only job, is to ask Spirit what needs to be revealed into us. And you can do that in your spiritual mind treatment, your affirmative prayer. You can do that in your meditation. You can do that in visioning. That's a big thing about the visioning practice, is asking that question. Spirit, what needs to be revealed in me right now? Reveal it. And then our work, that's our job. Our work is to be still and listen to the voice within and follow its guidance. You'll know that it's Spirit talking to you because it's constructive. It's something that will better your life and your thinking. Got a question for you. Can we successfully release and let go of beliefs, ideas, and limitations without embracing their replacement? So we're not just getting rid of things, we're replacing those ideas with the best ideas, with Spirit's ideas, with divine ideas. While we may see what to let go and sometimes have to dig deep a little bit. I know I have. I've had to dig deep to let go and release some ideas that were holding me back. What we want to look at is the replacement, what the universe wants to reveal into us, and allow that to happen. You'll hear it. You'll hear it. It'll speak to you somehow. It'll show itself, or you'll actually hear words in meditation. But it'll teach you whatever it says, whatever it's brought forth into your life, whatever red flag it flies in front of you. The biggest thing Spirit will teach you is where your attention goes, energy flows, and manifestation then follows. Where your attention goes, energy flows, and manifestation then follows. So when we put our conscious attention on asking for Spirit's highest vision of what needs to be let go, when we keep our attention on this question long enough, this question of Spirit, what is my highest purpose? What is it I need to do right now, or think, or say, or be? When we keep our attention on that long enough, we receive this visionary insight to what needs to be allowed in, to what needs to be thought from now on, to what we must awaken to. And then we manifest our vision by committing to embrace the consciousness and creative stages of this intuitive information. Embrace it, use it, be it, work it. Your attention goes to the possibilities. Your energy flows from the intuitive divine nature, and your manifestations then come pure and clean, without the filter of shoulda, woulda, couldas, or other junk thinking. I have an Ernest Holmes quote from you, actually from the Science of Mind book. And he says, ignorance stays with us until the day of enlightenment, until our vision toward the Spirit broadens and casts out the image of a no longer useful littleness. The will should hold it in place until the creative genius of the inner life transforms the image of limitation and transmutes it into liberty under law. So are you looking at possibilities, or are you looking at limitations? Here's a great story. Have you ever heard of Bethany Hamilton? Bethany Hamilton, at the age of 13, she was a rising surfing star. And she was surfing one day and got attacked by a 14-foot tiger shark. A 14-foot tiger shark. And she lost her left arm. And that, of course, seemingly ended her dream career. She was dreaming of a surfing life. But the great thing about this story is that through a foundation and perspective of faith, she has a lot of religious faith and spiritual faith, and a lot of determination and passion. Of course, the assistance, the foundation from her parents, from her entire family. Within a month after all this happened, she was back on her board. And then within 2 years, it took her a couple of years, but she had won her first national title. At 17 years old, she realized the dream of surfing professionally, and is still an active competitor to this day, competing in the World Surf League tour events and other tour events, because she goes around and does motivational speaking, et cetera, et cetera. And so she surfs at these events when they're on the beach. In 2016, Bethany beat a 6-time world champion and the top-ranked surfer in the world. How many years later was that? Doesn't say, but isn't that amazing? And then in 2017, she was inducted into the Surfers Hall of Fame. She sees her passion for surfing as a gift from God. is what she said, a gift from spirit, a gift from the universe, however you want to put it. And that's what compelled her to go back to the sport against all odds. What was she looking at? Limitations from the loss of her arm? Or possibilities? She's constantly rewriting those supposed roles of logic, what's possible, and lives her greatest life. She continues to live her greatest life. Her story is dramatized. You can find about her story in the movie Soul Surfer, which is based on the book of the same name, her book. And her personal perspective, other than the dramatized version in that movie, is shown in a couple of documentaries. Heart of Soul is one, Heart of Soul Surfer, and Unstoppable is the other. And she's written other books. She's written like 7, 8 books, I think. One is called Be Unstoppable, and she wrote a children's tale called Unstoppable Me. Do you see a precedent here? Do you see a habit here? Unstoppable is what she calls herself. Unstoppable is what she is looking at. She's looking at being and living unstoppable. A quote from her is, "I don't need easy, I just need possible." Now, while it's not always easy, and I totally get it, to let go of our troubles or give up the things we resent and regret, when we connect what we are looking through with what we are looking at, then we listen to Spirit's highest ideas on what needs to be released and forgiven so that we can live in the present. We can look for things to be grateful for every day. We can set those boundaries we need to protect the important things in our lives, saying no to the excess stuff or doing too much, and aim to use time wisely so that we can include those sweet moments in life. Not be so focused on getting ahead, but being ahead. And those sweet moments in life are most important. And then we see a world, a universe of possibilities. It's our daily choices that determine our outcomes. And with repetition of those daily choices, we'll catch more insights. We'll habitually expand our vision, mission, purpose, our personal one. There's a spiritual solution to every problem, condition, stress, illness, trauma, whatever. Those things may crack us a little bit, but it doesn't have to end us, just like Bethany. There's an ancient Japanese art called kintsugi, and it means golden joinery. And it's a technique where they use a lacquered or resin-based solution to fill in cracks and holes in pottery. And that resin-based solution has gold dust in it. And when I read about this, I was like, well, there's a spiritual version of that. And that is through our divine matrix, using our divine matrix and deciding what we are looking at, as well as through repairs. Are you looking at old stories, or are you creating new ones? Are you having a vision or dream that just floats around, or are you envisioning and embodying this dream, this declaration, this requirement in your life in your divine matrix? I want to give you a quick process about removing, letting go, shame, and regret that may be fogging up everything you're looking at, whether it's about your mind and body, your family, your friends, money, even higher self and source. So each piece of shame and regret story has 4 steps, okay? So these are the 4 steps. First, you want to write down, you want to do it with pen and paper. You want to write down a summary of the supposed shame or regret, the story around it. And when did it happen? When did it begin? When did it end? Where did it happen? And what were the deeper consequences of what you did, and how this affected your relationship with yourself, and how it is affecting you now. That's the most important one, this fourth one. What were the deeper consequences of what you did, and how did this affect your relationship with your life, with other people's lives, and your life right now? Now, when you finish writing these down, and it could be a long list or a short list, it matters not. You want to keep this list safe. You don't want to just go around and share it to anyone. But you might find one person to share it with, a counselor, a therapist, a practitioner, a spiritual leader, who you will read this to. Now, I know some of this would be really, really sensitive, and I totally get it. But you want to remind yourself in this action to not allow any justifications to show up. You don't have to give reasons. You're just stating facts. And make sure that the person you're speaking it to is just listening. It is not a time for them to allow any judgment, good or bad, to give any solicited or unsolicited opinions, good or bad. This process is only about communication with a trusted other and being open to letting it go. Because you see, when we are kind of squeaky clean, you might say, of our non-ethical, non-integrous past, whoa, little music jumped in there. When we are squeaky clean of that, we are more open to receiving in a huge way and stepping into our life, living large and free and powerful. It's huge. It's a huge thing, this letting go, this release in this process. I've done it. That's why I know this. I've done it. And just the act of speaking it out loud and releasing it so that the universe can gobble it up, take it away. And then I personally did a spiritual mind treatment to open myself up in this meditation to bring forth Spirit's words. Declare what your new story is right now. Declare it. Are you looking at agitation, or are you looking at serenity? Are you looking at a woe is me life or a wow is me life? Are you living in wonder and creativity, remembering the power of you is essential to you, no matter your age? It doesn't matter your age, your gender, whatever. It matters not where you live, how much money you have. You can live a wow is me life. Are you looking at the reflection of a victim or a victor? The pain of any sort of trauma is not necessarily eliminated. I get that in this work. But what it is neutralized and then replaced. It is neutralized. It is not affecting your life anymore. It is just an old story. And as that old story is released and let go, the new story is open to appearing. Are you looking at practicalities or possibilities? Because I can hear some of you saying, well, that's not practical. That's not practical. I just do this. Oh, it worked. When possibilities showed up, new possibilities in ideas, it's the act coming to me, people coming to me showed up. Remove impossible out of your vocabulary, because that we take our options and make the best of them. And the interesting thing is our options are limited only by how we look at things. Become a wiser, stronger, more involved and evolved human being by filling your cup, your mind, your brain, what you want, and allow the instinct from your gut to inform you. Then what you are looking at will be a joyous, rich, succulent, fun, loving, peaceful, happy, and vibrant life. Thank you so much. Namaste. And now I want to show you another video about your love offering for this week. Steve? Let us place our hands on our hearts and together declare our love offering blessing. Divine love consecrates my gift. It goes forth to heal, prosper, and bless. It is evidence of my conviction that God is the source and substance of my supply. I joyously contribute to the vision of my spiritual center, knowing that it returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is. Amen. Hallelujah. Thank you for your blessed love offerings. And there you have it, the love offerings. Let's bring back Reverend Gary. You still there, Rev?
I'm still here.
Give me a little spiritual mind treatment.
I am loving those new graphics.
Thank you. People
Thank
are
you.
diving in and typing in their contribution. Let's give a little prayer.
Oh, yes. I do recognize that God is the source and supply of the New Thought Spiritual Center, because it is directed through each of you who has chosen this center as the recipient of your beautiful gift. And I greatly, greatly accept that gift. And I know that it goes about doing its good work through the center out into the world. Thank you so much. And so it is.
And so it is. Yes, thank you. While the video was going, I tried to be sure that maybe you can use that music. So we will test again the final song when we get to it. But first, I want to show some credits there on the bottom. You'll see all the people that helped us with our new videos and bringing this production. No matter what the infinite or the internet or the universe decides we are going to show today, these people helped us, or these organizations. I want to thank you all for showing up, for coming. Sometimes things happen, and you know what? That's okay. Spirit speaks. That's the great thing about allowing Spirit to show up. It's okay if something didn't work, because I know that Spirit is going to bring what is working. It is getting something out of the way. We'll bring that song Unbound back again some other time, but maybe that wasn't what needed to be heard today. Anyway, thank you all for coming. I appreciate so much that you have shown up, that you are here, that you are with us every week or during the week. Some people don't watch live. They'll watch it later in the week, and we appreciate that as well. Don't forget to use the affirmative incantation every day, every morning when you wake up, and as the last thing you see and hear and think before you fall asleep for the next week. And then we'll have a new one next Sunday for you for the following week. I want to pick a new card because we didn't do it last week. I meant to, and I got so involved that I forgot to do it. So I want to do our closing spiritual mind treatment today for the service with this card. And then we'll have Steve press the button and see if that song works. If it doesn't, I'll come back and say goodbye once again. So here's the card I picked up. I need my glasses for that. It is Perpetua. Love that. Perpetua is the saint of authenticity. I don't know if you can see that picture. It's a great picture. I should have showed you Lady of Guadalupe. That was a great picture too. So this is how we are going to begin our spiritual mind treatment. She says, I am my authentic self in all circumstances. So please close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. Take a deep breath with me. Let it out. Let us know together there is one mind. There is one power in this universe. And it's a fabulous thing. It is a fabulous occurrence that one mind, that one power is within us right here and right now. And it is in this power that is within us that we choose authenticity. We choose to look at life, to look at all things through the eye of this authenticity, this divine authenticity. And no matter the circumstance, we see it, we reveal it, we react to it in this divine authenticity, in this vibration, this frequency that is of the divine. We have learned this. We have allowed this. We have awakened to this. We have observed it. And now we are placing it into our lives, into our minds, into our hearts, and into our guts. All three brains working together to bring forth this authenticity in everything. Absolutely everything that shows up in our lives. And I declare in this moment for each and every one of us, this authenticity brings love and joy, brings happiness and harmony, brings ease and grace into our lives, whatever that looks like. I declare it right here and right now. I reveal it right here and right now, and I let go of anything else, because I am focused on my divine authenticity. As I release this word gratefully and in appreciation, as together we say, and so it is. Steve, why don't you give a try to that final song? Let's see if that'll work for us. This is Gary Lynn Floyd singing Love Cover Me. See if that's is that working down there in the bottom of the slides.
It's not happening, Reverend. I got something else, so take us out. Say goodbye.
All right. Thank you all so much. We'll figure it out. Spirit will inspire us and reveal to us what needs to be figured out. And for you too. Have a blessed week. Thank you for joining us. Namaste.
Bust through and soar across the universe. Trust, truth, and roar above the sky. Connect the spiritual dots with the power of God. You will fear no more. Bust through and soar. Reveal divinity in you right here, right now. and soar beyond your atmosphere. Trust, truth, and roar with all your joy inside. Embrace the experience, believing in spirit. You will fear no more. Bust through and soar. Reveal divinity in you, right here, right now. Bust through and soar. Reveal divinity. You vibrate and shine with the divine.